Hello.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Oddly Juicy, where everything's oddly juicy. This is episode three. Episode 3. I'm Nason. This is Nathalie.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about some fun stuff.
Yes.
It's actually to intro on why this topic is the one that it is today. So essentially, we're going to be talking about new love, and the reason I decided on new love for this episode is because Nathalie's recently been going out with an individual who has been a breath of fresh air in the dating world. Well, I this was before we met up and we had lunch, and now I've heard more of the story, so maybe not so much a breath of fresh air, but before, definitely a breath of fresh air. So we're going to be talking about new love and all the wonderful things that come with that. But to start off, we're going to go with breaking up, the after breakup. Then we're going to go into how do you get back into the dating pool? Then we're going to go into new love, and then we'll finish off with what love really means.
Okay.
And it should be a nice, interesting episode. As you can see, it's not nighttime this time. It's during the day. We just got some lovely pastries from this new spot. Ivana, sponsor us.
Yes. Definitely really good. They have a wide selection of pastries that is heaven.
Yeah, it's pretty. They look pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's get right into the juice.
Yes.
The juice. Okay. All right, Nathalie. So I found out that after our last few episodes, the best way to strategize this is to pose a question to you about something, and then I have my opinion already together.
Okay.
You get to explore your opinion while we talk about it. So,
okay, let's do it.
Okay. Question numero uno.
Okay.
So this is our setting the scene.
Yes.
After your worst breakup,
okay,
did you actually believe you'd ever find love again?
No. For a split second, honestly, no. I think a lot of people go through that because you've invested time, energy, yourself into a relationship. Mm-hmm. Again, no matter how short, long, whatever the situation is, I honestly thought that I would never find love, whatever that means to everybody, again. Mm-hmm. But of course, that's not the case. We all know that. Eventually you do, but again, it's something that you try not to delve into right away. I'm sure that'll come up in one of our other next conversations or topics. Yeah. Just because it's like, you need to give yourself some time to process, heal whatever wounds that you're going through or having to deal with. But for the most part, no. I honestly thought that I wouldn't. Again, like I said, for a very split second, I really thought that it wouldn't happen. Because I think for a second it was, I thought it was like, is it me? Is there something wrong with me? And I think a lot of people go through that in general, where they think that there might be an issue with them. And this was posed to me actually recently too. Like when I went out on a date, this person asked me, he's like, did you stop to think that maybe the reason that you're not with somebody or not in a relationship is because of you? And honestly, I said, yes, I think some aspects of it, yes, maybe issues with me, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it was like a jab to me as a person, in general. There's everybody has their own faults. I said, to my response to that, I said, I'm not perfect. I don't claim to be perfect. But yes, I think that there may be some issues with me. Not everything is totally up to me, because it does take two in a partnership to make things work. Mm-hmm. So I think that, I think for a little bit, I did think that I wasn't going to find love. And to be honest, I was okay with that, because I needed that time and that space to kind of just refocus on myself, regroup, and kind of be bring things back to Nat.
Yeah. I think this question, the worst breakup, also kind of goes back to your first real true love in a way. Yeah. Because that's kind of where everybody, you haven't figured out what a breakup is. Yeah. You haven't figured out how that feels, how the trauma of finding that actual genuine connection, mm-hmm. and then the tools to get out of that.
Yes.
And I think, because usually it happens at a younger age, mm-hmm. I feel like that's so instrumental in the fact of why you would feel like it's the end of the world and that you'll never find love again.
Yeah.
Is because it's your young self and you're like, wow, this is a person that I really connected with.
Yes.
And I've never had this connection with anybody, and now they're gone and
Yes.
it's over. And so of course you're going to be devastated. You're going to be like, how can I ever find that again? And I think finding that next love that really impacts you is a very special moment, because that shows you that, oh, I can go through this. I can come out a better person. I can be better with how I am.
Yes.
And I can fix the things, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be all right on the other side. And
Yeah.
that empowers you so that you can really make sure that when you're dating and going out and exploring the world,
Yeah.
that you're finding the person that actually is going to value you and take care of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I'll say my little tidbit, my little word of wisdom. I have this this saying, because it's very interesting how breakups affect the individual sexes. So men and women.
Yeah.
Men should go through a breakup that devastates them,
Yeah.
and women should be protected as much as possible.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because masculinity is built, whereas femininity is preserved.
Yes.
Because every woman is born with a natural sense of mothership, and of that caring, kind, nurturing.
Yeah.
And the problem is that because masculinity is built, it isn't just built in men, it's built in women too.
Yes.
And so this is for all you lads out there. When you're going through a breakup with the woman, even if she did something terrible, even if, she messed you up, whatever the case is, the best thing you can do to save your woman, and as the last act of love, because remember to always show love through the relationships, make sure when you break up with her that she fucking hates you. You make sure she fucking hates you, because that hate and being like, wow, he's a dick,
Yeah.
will save her heart and save herself, her femininity.
Yeah.
Because if she really aches over you, that's just it's gonna harden her heart.
Yeah.
And it's gonna make it a lot harder for her to be a perfect woman for the next person she's with.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's interesting. I had that realization a long time ago, probably a long time ago. And once I was aware of it, I kind of saw it in every places, and I saw how people didn't follow that rule and how it affected the woman.
Yeah.
And saw people who followed that rule exactly, and how it really empowered them both to be individuals. And it was that last act of love that you can give.
Yeah.
From that side.
Yeah.
How did your I guess we kind of already went into this. Or, well, not really. But how did your view on love change after that experience? Did you have a better relationship with it? Did you have a worse relationship with it?
I think it was a little bit of both.
Yes.
To be honest, I realized some good things about that relationship, which you should always have, unless it's physically or mentally abusive. Obviously, that's a completely different mindset. But I had some good things come out of it, and I had some bad things come out of it. Like, I realized a lot of the things that I'm not going to settle for in a relationship. You know what I mean? And I realized that, me as a person, I can only bring so much of myself to the table. The other person has to bring the other half too.
Yeah.
And when it comes down to the last relationship, I tried my best to compromise a lot, I feel, on a lot of things. Maybe overly compensated on a lot of things, which I shouldn't have done. But that's just my nature. You and I have talked about love language, and you know what my love language is. So I think I did a lot of those things. But I also think that I learned from that as well, right? Like, I learned what. Again, there's a growing list of pros and cons that you need to look for in relationships, and what you value and what you want and what you're looking for. And I think I realized a lot of things that I don't want to contend with moving forward. Like in my relationship, in any relationship or whatever, there are things that I don't think I would settle for anymore, that I was a little bit more keen on, giving that little extra bit to, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I along the same lines, I think I found that it gave me perspective.
Yeah.
It gave me perspective on, one, what it takes to be in a relationship, and then two, what I want out of a relationship.
Yep.
So who I want that person, my significant other, to be, how I want them, how I want them to feel, how I want the relationship to grow, and also it gave me a lot of perspective on the red flags in the beginning.
Yes.
That that it doesn't matter how small they are. You're like, I know that if that is something that's already bothering me, or that's something that they're already demonstrating, that it's only going to grow and be worse, and that's not somebody that I can be a part of.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how when you're in the horrible breakup, you're like, oh god, like, oh, I never want this to happen again. But then you come out of it and you grow past it and you go, wow, I'm so glad that happened, because if it didn't happen, I wouldn't have had the head screwed on just as tight on my shoulders.
Yeah. But I think that a lot of people in general, to add to that, go past. I think a lot look past a lot of red flags. I'm going to be honest. Like, I think we make mistakes and we do it to ourselves, but it's just because you're so caught up with the feeling of being with somebody. You're so caught up with the same reciprocating feelings and the lovey-dovey or the PDA or not whatever, you know what I mean? I think me in general, I get caught up sometimes, too caught up, that I know that they're red flags. You and I have talked about red flags even in the last episode we talked about red flags. And I think there have been times when on this past relationship I let go of red flags that were really clear as day.
Red.
Really, really red. Like and I was just like, nah. And I'm, at the end of the day, it's like, who am I trying? Like, I should stop trying to kid myself and really look at myself in the mirror and being like, you know what? No, like, that's a red flag. Like, for me, that's my red flag. It may not be a red flag for you, anybody else, whatever, but everybody has their own red flags, their own boundaries. And I think I went past those on certain things that I should not have done.
Yeah.
And going into a new relationship or dating or whatever, I should automatically, once I see red flags that are similar in that nature, I should just stop and not try to think that maybe there's more, maybe I'll give it a little bit more. Like, no, because honestly, it's when you see red flags, it becomes like repetitious cycles. You know what I mean? And it may show itself in different ways, but it's still the underlying principle of that red flag.
Yeah, well, that's the hopeless romantic part of it, where you're starting off the honeymoon phase, as people call it, where it's like they can do no wrong. And even though you're seeing the red flags, you're kind of like, oh, it's just a moment. Oh, they're not actually bad. Oh, this isn't like you make all the justifications, and then very quickly, as you go on the third date, the fourth date, the fifth date, then you start realizing, okay. Okay. Yeah. And usually, too, another accumulation factor is usually once two people have sex.
Yes.
Then the woman and the man, they both like step back and go, wow.
Yeah.
Like,
it's
now,
the cookie. Women, don't let the guy go in the cookie jar.
Cookie, they're like, oh.
A cookie monster. Keep that cookie monster away.
It's so true. No, like the amount of times that I've been talking to friends of mine, like women that are friends of mine, and they're like, yeah, like, he had some red flags but he was still like redeeming, and he said all the nice things, and he cares about me and wants to support me and blah 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 blah. And then he let the cookie monster in the cookie jar, and all of a sudden now he's like really bad. Yeah. Like not just bad, like really bad.
Yeah.
Like all those things came back times 40.
Yeah.
So don't.
Yeah. I'm not saying hold out, like, forever, obviously. Because if it never happens, the guy's going to be like, what the fuck? Like, we've been going out on dates. We've been seeing each other for months, let's say, as an example. And you don't give it up. Okay, obviously there's a right time, there's a right place. But I'm saying, again, everybody's different. I'm not saying to not give it up after the first date. I mean, just hold it back a little bit. Like, women, hold it back. Like, I know women are thirsty. I know men are thirsty because of what happened years ago with COVID and all this shit. And now it's like, people are coming out of their shell and being like, we're out, we're free. It's spring. It's nice outside. Bodies are going to be all over. Tits and ass are going to be flowing all over the place. Caravans are going to be coming out. Yeah, exactly. So it's like everyone's trying to get back into their, like, summer bod, but it's like, again, you don't have to fuck every single time. You go out on one date and you're just like, okay, here's my fucking punani and spread your legs and then we're good to go. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I like you, have a cookie. I like you, have a cookie.
Exactly. So just kind of like hold it back, especially if you're looking for something meaningful. You know what I mean? And something that again is important to you or whatever you're looking for. I mean, like, just, unless you're out there to have fun, then do you. That's fine. But
Yeah.
If you're trying to date, like, give it a minute. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I'll always be a strong supporter of the uh, allow yourself to become friends first
Yeah.
before you take it to the romantic level, because
Yes.
you're growing a relationship tree,
Right.
and you're taking it from a seed, and part of growing a really strong base is learning what you like about each other and where you connect as people.
Yes.
And that's where you get the roots in.
Yeah.
You have the base going. Best relationships I have, it's always been started as friends.
Mm-hmm.
And then you let that grow, you let the roots take hold, then you can do all the exploring in the cookie jar and everything, right?
Absolutely.
So, we've talked about the breakups.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now after the breakup is the fun part.
Mm-hmm.
We say the fun part.
Yes.
But you're upset, you're fully charged with emotions, you
Yes.
feel, angry at them, whatever the case is.
Uh-huh.
So what's the first dumb thing that you did after a breakup like that? Now we're talking social media posts, maybe a little dramatic ones.
Yep.
Revenge glow up. Dated someone else out of spite that they were related to.
More
Went on a wild cookie jar binge.
No, I think for me it was like posting right after.
Yes.
And I know I speak for myself, but I know that a lot of people do it too. Right after a breakup, I posted like this.
Oh yeah.
All
like
this.
Lots.
Like fun times I was having, which I was. Don't get me wrong.
The highlight reels.
Yes, I was definitely having a good time. With my friends, and then I post a lot about my glow ups too, like gym, new adventures going on in my life, new opportunities that are happening. Excuse me, but that's part of my like glow up for me. So I think I wouldn't necessarily say it's a revenge, but it's more like, you know what? You and I dated, or whoever it was that I was dated, we dated, we did our thing, but now it's like I'm gonna take it back to me. I'm gonna, focus on me, back to focusing on me, and back to my goals, and back to like who I am and what I want, and like, what I'm motivating myself to do, to be like a better person, and like, whether that's work, life, anything else that I want to explore, opportunities. I think that to me is what I've done after a breakup. Not necessarily bad intentions, but a lot of people do it to kind of boast. I'll be honest, to kind of boast a bit about it.
Yeah,
like,
it's the whole I'm better off without you.
yeah, and like, you know what? You didn't break me. Like, you did not break me.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Even though we broke up and whatever, I'm still going to live my life, and I'm going to do me, and I'm going to have fun, and I'm going to let you just kind of wander in your head about whatever is going on in my world. And that's up to you. Like, that's your decision. That if you want to think about those things, hey, that do you, boo, right? You know what I mean? Like, but I didn't do things out of spite. Maybe hesitated to think about what would they think about that for a split second, but I was like, fuck it, I don't care. Like, if you want to look at my stories and you want to look at my posts, that has nothing to do with me. I'm posting what is going on right now, current in my life.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I did the exact same thing. I was all about like, oh, I'm gonna post the highlight reel, all the perfect moments going out, this, that, and the other. But I remember it got old very, very fast. It was like maybe within a week, I was like, why am I doing this? Why am I putting extra effort? Like, I don't even care about posting this.
Yeah.
And I'm just posting it because I hope,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But I found that I didn't have revenge in mind, but I found that I everything became more about myself. I was more worried about me. I was like, I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna run more. I'm gonna do that new business venture. I'm gonna do all these things that I was putting off before, or I was always thinking, oh, I'll do it when I have a time. When I have time.
Yeah.
I had so much more renewed vigor or renewed what's the word I'm looking for? Ambition about getting things done and moving things forward. And it's amazing how a breakup can really charge you up and make you feel like, all right, fuckers, prepare for me.
Yeah. I definitely do.
Yeah, but I never did the whole dating out of spite or the best way to get over someone is get under someone. Like I was never into that. I never felt like that was the right way to deal with emotions.
Yeah.
At least on my end. But I saw a lot of people who that was the success.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they were really, really fucked up until they went and started dating somebody else, or went and started hanging out with other people and getting it out of their system.
Yeah.
Then it's night and day difference, right?
Yeah. I agree.
What's a more embarrassing way you tried to get over a breakup. Tarot. Did you ever do like the tarot card readings, or like went to see a psychic, or stalked their Instagram daily, or wrote a very deep journal entry?
I wouldn't say like okay, yeah, maybe a deep journal entry, more
I'm
like a
guilty of
letter,
that one.
more like a letter,
And then burned it.
and then burned it.
I
Yes,
did that.
I did. I also did one fairly recent, actually. Well, I wouldn't say recent, but like last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think I told you this. I went with one of my friends to one of their spots, their favorite spots to go to, and we did a thing. So this thing was viral, I guess, on TikTok or whatever, and it was like you got a plate. I think I told you this, and you wrote down
And so, yes,
goals or whatever for that year. And you wrote down everything on this plate that you could possibly think of. It could be anything related to whatever aspect in your life. Because that was like the resemblance of the beginning of the year to like let all that go. And remember what was in it. Yeah, release it all. And just, you know what I mean? Like start fresh, start new. Not resolutions, but more like things that you want to do. Yeah, to help motivate you. That's one thing that I did. And that was pretty much, I'd say, in and around the time that I broke up with this person that I was with for like a hot minute, and it felt invigorating to me, honestly, because it was more like a lot of things that was being held back from that relationship. And then I would talk to you at the gym, and I would be like, we would always, our crew is always very like, how are you guys doing today? How, you know what I mean? How was yesterday? Whatever. So we know a lot about each other's personal lives outside of the gym. But it was just like, I would tell you guys like, I'm fucking tired. And you're like, why? I'm like, well, this is what happened. And I'm just drained. And then you guys were telling me things that I wasn't listening to, where it was like, you know what? No, this person is draining you. And I really was like, no, but that's my own doing too. Because I'm staying up late. I'm coming back. Rolling in at some ungodly hour, sleeping for a couple hours, and looking like death and like a fucking zombie when I go into the workout. So my workout's like trash. And then I had to step back and realize, like, you know what? No, yeah, this is actually like, you're draining me.
Destroying you.
Yeah, you're like a what did you call it? A vampire?
Energy vampire.
Energy vampire. And I was just like, yeah. So I think releasing that all, like writing it all down on that plate after the breakup, definitely helped me move forward. Also, like I said, writing that letter, burning it, was another thing that I did that I think helped me move forward. Talking to my friends about it too, just having that support helped me move forward too, right? Because it was just kind of like, I hate to say it, but validating like how I was actually feeling. You know what I mean? And being like, okay, you know what? Yeah, you were right for this, wrong for this. But again, both parties, you know, are to have some sort of blame. Like a relationship doesn't end because it's one person. It takes two people to like want to fuck up or want to slowly keep doing the same shit, and you're still trying to like make it work or not make it work or whatever. It's always two people. It's never just the one. Do you know what I mean? So I think that those things help me to like move forward to my next stage.
Yeah, I definitely did like the whole write a letter.
Yeah.
And it's not even write a letter, but I wrote on a piece of paper and I kind of dumped all my thoughts onto it and burned it. And like in the moment, I was skeptical of it. I only did it because a lot of people were like, "Oh, you can release all the ideas trapped in your brain or all the thoughts and everything."
Did that
and
help?
I did it.
Did you feel?
It did. It did. I felt there was like a release. There was like a weight release.
Yeah.
That because the act of creating and then destroying the creation was like, it's the same thing where at night, if you guys, nice little hack is if your brain's racing at night, going over everything, grab a piece of paper and just write out everything that's on your mind. And then that's your way of emptying the thoughts and putting it somewhere to store for later. And you'll be fine. Your brain will stop racing immediately.
Yeah.
So I had some idea that it was going to work and be helpful, but I didn't realize the weight. And another thing that I did is there's a little chant you can do.
Okay.
And so I say chant. It's just like a saying. It's just a big long phrase. And what it is you call back your energy.
Okay.
And you guys should all look it up. But it's a little mantra that you repeat, and it essentially you call back all your energy that you've given to these people and you've lost from yourself. And I remember I got recommended to do it from a friend of my mom's who is into all of the energy and stones and everything. And you know, I'm skeptical of that, but I was like, you know what? if it makes me feel better, I'll try it.
Yeah.
And I remember it was the strangest thing. It was the strangest feeling because as I called back all the energy I had expended on this person, but not just on this person, but I generalize it to all the people, like the friends or acquaintances, all the people that are energy vampires. And I said, you know, that energy doesn't belong to you. It comes back to me, blah, blah, blah. And as I got through the mantra and I was really like focusing on getting it all back, I felt like rejuvenated. I was like, maybe I did call. There was something to pulling all that your energy back from these people that you had given to them. And I felt like my battery had went from like, you know, 10% to full charge. And I just felt, whoa, I can breathe. Everything's brighter. I can, you know, my nose is clear. My eyes, I could see better. It was a very interesting psychological experience.
So would you do that again? Like if you were to go through another breakup, would you probably do that? Same
Oh
type
yeah,
of
yeah.
mantra again?
I definitely do it. But I mean, like I even took that into just every day. If I'm feeling especially drained, and when I'm interacting with a lot of people, sometimes I feel really, really drained. I'll do the little mantra just to call back that energy. And it
works.
Still works. It's very
effective.
Very effective.
Interesting.
So as we move more into the reflecting stage. So we've gotten over the break. Oh, well, we say not really over the breakup. Went through the breakup. We did our stupid shit after. Now you're reflecting. From that breakup, what moment were you done? Did you realize that they're not going to change, or they're not going to change, or was it a big climactic moment? Like I mean, the easy quote is, "Oh, they cheated on you." Or was it just like slow realization of like, this person isn't right for me, and it took a while it took a bunch of hits in the same spot to finally be like, oh, you know, if I don't cut them off now, I'm gonna lose my mind.
That last part is reflective over the last relationship that I had, definitely, because I felt like I had done so much repetitive conversations over and over and over again, like a broken record. And I was like, I got that, but you have to understand my situation. You gotta understand where I'm going. Okay, fucker. I have to understand you, but you need to understand me. This is the give and take. I keep saying to these people, like, again, if you're gonna respect me in a relationship, and I need to be able to respect you, which includes communicating. That's a big thing for me and like relationships. As you know, I've talked to you about this like numerous times. Communicating is definitely a big thing. And if you can't communicate to me properly, and if your shit is going to be the same fucking song and dance to me, that's not communicating anymore. That to me is just like, you're not listening to what I'm saying to you. So I found in my last relationship, as they were not listening to me anymore, I was like, I'm tired of this shit. Because it's like, we'd be going through the same shit over and over again. And this person would say, oh, yeah, before I leave, I want to make sure that I take you out on a nice dinner. Yeah, okay. Yet so many things happened throughout this whole friggin' shit show that I was like, the time came and went, and no dinner anywhere was ever upon me at all. And the realization, I think, as going through this relationship with this person, I was like, I've done so much for you. And like, again, you could go to the store, you could get what you need from the store. You come back from the store and you have candy, whatever. You didn't stop to think about me. But I shouldn't even have to vocalize that to you. Like, these are things that in a relationship people should do. But I always got the whole, oh, don't take my love for granted. Fuck off with that. No. Because that's full of shit. Fucking full of shit. And I am very now big on the whole actions speak louder than words. That whole mantra, that whole definition. If a lot of you understand exactly what I'm saying, people, both men and women, need to go through the whole, really, when you're saying something, do it. I'm not necessarily saying do it right away, but make it a point that you've said what you need to say about that certain situation. So make it happen. And that could be the smallest thing, but it shows that, you know what, I'm validating what you said to me. We've had this conversation. I didn't have to go through the same conversation over and over again. And I kept saying to this person, the reason why I keep talking to you, because they were getting mad at me. I was like, the reason why you're getting mad is because we haven't resolved this situation, this whole talk that we're talking about. You haven't had there's no solution to it. You haven't done what you said you were going to do. So how can we move forward with that? And then you're going to bitch at me about that. So I was tired of all the bitching. I was tired of just having to repeat myself. And I was at the point that I was like, you know what? This person's never going to change. This is who you are. I'm tired of hearing that I'm not that type of man. I'm not that type of... Bro, don't come at people like that, eh? Because people will show their true colors at some point down the line. And usually the rule of thumb is what, 3 months down the line? Something like that?
Yeah, it's like 3 to 6 months. Yeah.
Right. Because in the beginning, we talked about this in one of our other episodes, the chase is always there. So you're always going to want to show and showcase your best side. It's like an animal out in nature, and you're trying to like get your mate. You're trying your best to like show all your colors, the biggest chest that you have, the loudest roar. You know what I mean? Take over and like make sure that everybody's well aware. I like you, you like me. This is what we're gonna do. Okay, so if you're gonna do that, then go ahead and do that. That's fine. But like, do it in a way where it's like, you know, don't talk too much and not follow through, because I'm tired of that. And I think a lot of us at our age, as we grow older, we get tired of shit easily, and you could smell that shit. And again, when it comes down to love, they say love is blind, and it is true. Love is blind. I will tell you that. Like, that's why people make the same mistakes we say we're never going to do. We're supposed to learn from them, but of course we make mistakes. We're human. But that's this relationship that I was in the last time. I just got tired of all of that, and I was just like, I can't anymore. And when I said what I need to say, they stopped reading my text, and they were still there, so they're still in red. But I'm like, yeah, you know what? No. I pointed out all these things, and they were like, yeah. They came back at me so many times, and I'm like, you know what? No. You are just nowhere near the level of where I need a man at, and what I am looking for in a man. Like, you can't come at me like that, especially as I'm realizing, you know, I should realize this off the bat the first time around. In the beginning, is like, if we're not on the same wavelength and you don't have the same goals, like, you know what I mean, then it's kind of hard to maintain that, especially if they're not in the same world as you, in the same sphere. You know what I mean? Like, it makes things difficult, because there's a lot of things that can get misunderstood because of the situations that you are in, or I'm in, or whatever. So that's why a lot of those things, yeah, I just had to cut it, and I was fine with it. Like I said, it took me a minute, but
yeah, I mean, you know, it's, you always go out. I always find relationships follow two paths. Either one, shit like this happens, where one issue or a couple issues just keep remounting and remounting until there's a big pile of shit, and you're like, okay,
yeah, enough is enough.
my bandwidth has been reached. I can't deal with it anymore.
Yeah.
Or there's the big bang where everything goes to shit, and you're like, okay, this person is actually like a terrible person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly that. Exactly that.
Yeah.
Now, how long did it take you to be like, to go through all these, to go through all the reflection points, and finally get to the point where you're like, maybe love isn't dead. Maybe there is hope for me. Maybe there is more love on the horizon. Mm-hmm. Was that meeting somebody and being like, oh, this person's like a breath of fresh air? Mm-hmm. Or was there like just like a moment of clarity, or you finally got over it?
No, I think it was like, for me, I think of it as being, there was a moment of clarity, like you said. And there was a moment where it was like, you know what? Yeah. And then when I talked to some of my friends, they're like, Nat, I want to see you happy. That's what everybody wants. See me happy. And I was like, yeah, and I want myself to be happy too. Whether that's single, dating, I don't care. I just want to be happy. I'm tired of feeling like crap. So it took me a minute to actually sit down and actually have conversations with my closest friends. Mm-hmm. And for me to realize that, yeah, don't jump into anything so soon.
Yep.
Give it some time. Give your time to heal. Give your time to reflect. Get over whatever issues that you have to still deal with. And then when you're ready, which people usually know when they're ready to go back out there again, that's when it will happen. Like, don't go looking for it. And I've always maintained the whole, I never look for those things. I just keep my mind focused on me and my closest people and my family and my kids around me. Mm-hmm. And then whatever happens to come my way, that's what happens. I always find, and I've always found, that whenever I'm not looking, that's when things come about.
Well, it's interesting. So I have 2 rules of thumb for everybody here as I adjust my little lighting, and the weather is so strange right now. There's 2 rules of thumb that I love. First rule of thumb is a general rule of thumb for getting over a relationship is you need the amount of time that was half of your relationship. So if your relationship was 3 years, you're looking at about a year and a half to fully recover from that person's impact on you. If it was 7 years, 3.5, if it was 20 years, maybe 10 years to really get over it. Yeah. Because the longer you're with someone, the more impact, the more ingrained they are in their life. And I'm sure that there's a catalyst point where it's like, and it's probably 7 years because everything seems to follow 7 years. But there's probably a point where over a certain time, it doesn't matter how long, like if you've been together 20 years or 50 years, it's like, around 7 years, people usually get over it. Yeah. But that's a rule of thumb for everybody. So if you're like, oh, how long am I going to feel this heavy weight in my heart? Well, if you've been with a person for 4 years, you might have that heavy weight in your heart for 2. Yeah. So you gotta really watch for that. Yeah. And then my other rule of thumb that I actually heard a quote recently, and it was like, the 2 things that you shouldn't look for in life is love and death. Interesting. Because they'll find you when it's time. Ah. And I was like, I heard that and I was like, yes. Good point. Yes. And it's true. Yeah. It's true. All the best relationships always come, and not just like romantic relationships. Yeah, like friendships. But friendships too. Yeah. They always find you exactly when you need that. Yeah. And when you stop looking for love. Yes. It's amazing the doors that open for you. Yes. But when you're trying to make the universe work, you're like, this puzzle piece has to go here, It'll never work for you. Yeah. But when you just go with the flow, you step back and you go, I'm ready for it when it comes, then all of a sudden you notice all the opportunities. Same with money. Yeah. Yeah. You work hard, you set yourself up to be in the best situation you can be. Yeah. But you let it flow. Yeah. Build the garden and the butterflies will come. Mm. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you on that one for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. On to new love, the happiness part. I really love this question because it perfectly sums up a really beautiful moment when you get into a new relationship. What's something your new love did that made you realize this is what love is supposed to feel like? This is a serious question. Yeah. Okay. I don't know how to answer that one. Yeah, I can answer it. I guess in the beginning, it was more like I felt like that person was actually like listening to me. Do you know what I mean? And actually like understanding certain parts of me. I feel like for me, that's what it felt like. And the fact that they were actually making moves in terms of being like, hey, what are you doing? Can we get together? When can I see you again? And then when I saw this person, it was like, okay, happened on a weekend. And then the next day I got like a phone call. And I usually it's a rule of thumb, people will like message or call 3 days after, that's usually the rule of thumb. So this person was just like, nope, call me right away. And I was like, oh my God. Like I was like, this is quick. I thought, give it a minute. You know what I mean? And then when I was like talking to them on the phone, they were like, oh, hey, when can I see you? When do you want to do something? I was like, I don't know. Let's see if we can figure out some time like in our schedules. Oh, but they were like, well, okay, well, what about today? And I was like, today? Like, I was like, this is so soon. They're like, no, it's not. And I'm like, okay, well, so we made time. And that, I liked that. I wouldn't necessarily say it's love, but it's like the beginning of getting to know somebody in new relationships or whatever, but actually like making time and actually like vocalizing that you were wanting to spend time with that person. And this person actually didn't hesitate to like pay for the bill, which is the norm, which should be, right? But it was like the last couple of times we went out to the movies, and then we were looking at like the popcorn, the concession stand. So he paid for the movies, and then when we were looking at the prices, he's like, oh my God, he's like, it's like $30 for like a drink, a pop, and like a candy. And so when I heard that, I was like, you know what, don't worry, I'll get it because you got the movies. So as I'm there trying to take out my card, they're like, no.
And I'm like, but it's okay, if you don't want to, because you already just paid, don't. I like that. I actually like that. I'm not saying use and abuse women, don't do that. Men, and like when you're dating, I'm saying I like when a guy takes charge and is assertive and says, no, you know what? It's fine.
I'm taking you out.
Yeah, I'm taking you out. We are going out on a date. I'm gonna pay for everything and whatever. And I have no problems. I know this is not part of the question. I have no problems later on as you're dating to reciprocate that. But if you're doing it in the first couple of dates, I really enjoyed that, because I know there's a lot of people that are new age and are more like, okay, you paid for this day, pay for the next day, you know what I mean, or pay half this, you pay for the tickets, I pay for like the concession or whatever. I'm fine, and I love that the guy actually was like, told me straight up, no, don't do it. Like, I'm gonna pay for it. So I'm like, okay, so
classy.
Shut my mouth and just put my card back in. I'm like, okay. And you?
For me, I would say that the real refreshing moment was everybody was over, so the whole family was over from. Oh my God! Look, it's a rainbow.
Oh yes.
A little good omen for us. Yeah. I would say that the whole family was over. We were having like I can't remember what the dinner was for. I think it was for a birthday or someone or something. And I was just like helping out in the house and everything. And then dinner was ready, and there was a few people scattered around the house.
Yeah.
And this person, Liz, went around to all the people who were scattered doing work. Like my brother was downstairs and he was working on his laptop, and then there was a couple people outside chatting away.
Yeah.
And she went to every single person and said, hey, dinner's ready. What do you want from this selection? Because I'll make a plate for you and put it at your spot on the table. That way you can just come in and eat.
Right.
And that was when I went, whoa, I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I like a person who likes my family.
Yeah.
Because that's all good signs. It's that you care. It's that you're not just trying to impress me and please me, but you're looking out for everybody. And there's qualities of motherhood and caring and compassion. And that was, I would say, the big check mark moment where I was like, okay, all right, there's something. Someone cooked here, as they say.
Yeah, I like that.
That would be my answer to that question.
Yeah, for sure.
What's a green flag in love you never appreciated before?
Oh, that I never appreciated.
Yeah, like your younger self never appreciated, and then when you got to this more mature, well-rounded love, you were like, oh, this is something that I appreciated.
I think actually taking the time to actually get to know me, I actually appreciate it, because I've gone through numerous relationships, dates, where it's like the guy doesn't care to fucking know you. And we talked about this just earlier when we had lunch, where the guys are just like, okay, they ask you a stupid fucking question. What's your favorite color? What do you like to eat? Like, there's more to it than that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's more like asking the question, how's the weather today? Like, what are you up to? Who fucking cares? Like, do you know what I mean? It's more like asking things like, what gets you upset? You know what I mean? Not to necessarily say, and this has happened to me recently, they're like, oh, I want to see you angry. And I've had that happen to me a couple times where the guy's like, why do you want to see me angry? Like, we're just starting to get to know each other. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no reason for you to do that. Like, you want to see, like, what if I'm fucking psycho? Like, I don't get it. But it's just like, I like when a guy wants to get to know me as a person, and I mean more in depth than just the surface level questions. Do you know what I mean? Like, I appreciate that. I value that. I value like a person that like knows how to treat a woman and knows how to treat the people around that person when you're out. Like, if you go out to go eat, we've talked about this in one of our other episodes too, when you go out and you eat, you see how they treat the staff, you see how they treat, you know, complete strangers. If a stranger comes up and talks to you or whatever, like, their demeanor is kind. I like that when they're kind, and when they're like, they're not always on your phone. I get it, we're tied to our phones all the time for whatever various reasons, but I like when they kind of like take the time to kind of just put the phone down and whatever, and pay attention to you, right? So one person that I was dating, when I went out, I actually appreciated them. Actually, we talked about this in the last episode, one of the last episodes too, is like, I liked walking on the inside of the street. that was one of my things that I told you had never really happened in my entire existence of dating. That was great. When I was out, I told my daughter that I was out. So I was checking in with her, like on this date. And I was like, sorry, you know, I just gotta like reach out to my daughter. Just she's asking me something. So, and they were like, that's no problem at all. I appreciate those types of things. Those things matter to me because that person had kids too. And I appreciated the fact that they understood where I came from. You know, there was a common ground of understanding that if your kids are calling you or they're texting you, it's not that they're calling you or texting you to piss you off. It's a there sometimes it could be an emergency and you never know. So at least they understood. They're like, nope, I totally get it. You do what you need to do. I like those things. I value those things, that people that understand me and understand, okay, I'm here to date, you know, I'm not here to get married. I'm here to date, see how things go and see how things progress. But I like a man that actually knows how to show in other ways that they actually value like a woman and like know and like would take care of her. Like you could see certain things, characteristics in a man where they know that they know how to like date proper and they're not just out for booty and fucking, you know what I mean? Like it's not about that, you know what I mean? So I like when they're actually taking time, and it's not, and I like going out on dates, like numerous dates, like with the same person or whatever, and they're not trying to like smash you every single fucking time. Like it's nice to like actually have that establishment, like you say, you know, you become friends first, you get to know them, and then you see how things progress. Like I value those things, because now it's like these days people are just out for like, most people are out for like one thing or out for multiple things, so they want to have like build a roster for different things, and I'm
Yeah.
no, you know what I mean?
I think I'm going to say that we're talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
It's this level of maturity. Because what I was going to say is emotional baseline. That's something that I didn't appreciate when I was younger, and that I really appreciate now.
Yeah.
Is when like life should be this.
Yes.
And there's going to be good moments.
Yes.
And there's going to be bad moments.
Yes.
But it should always kind of sit at this line.
Yeah.
I find that a lot of people think a relationship always has to be doing this. Otherwise, they don't care, and there's nothing going. I know it's too much work. It's too much emotional trauma. It's terrible.
It is.
And so when you have somebody who, it's okay that life's like this.
Yeah.
It's okay that it's day to day, and then you go out for a date.
Yeah.
And down, and maybe something pisses you off, so you fight. It's like there's gonna be ups and downs.
Yes.
Or shit's gonna happen and whatever. But I like when people are okay with having baseline.
Yeah.
Like when things are okay to be neutral.
Yeah.
It's okay to be happy and to be fine.
Yeah.
Right? And this goes along with what you're just saying, where there's maturity. There's depth to a person, there's insight, you're speaking to somebody.
Yeah.
It's a person who's gone through some trauma, some turmoil, and come out better because of it. So now they have this understanding of what they want from a relationship.
Yeah.
So they can talk to you and ask you better questions in depth. And also somebody who can be your partner, who can be there with you and keep things chill and relax, and life can be perfect.
Yeah.
Can be fine.
Yeah.
I think the best way to wrap up this episode is to say, what's one lesson about love you learned the hard way, the hardest way, but you wouldn't change?
Oh man. What's one lesson in love that I would want to learn the hard way?
That you learned
that
you
learned?
learned the hard way, the hardest way.
Yeah.
Or the hardest lesson to learn, but you wouldn't have changed.
Oh, that's a good. What's your take on that? I don't know what my take on that is. That's a good
I
question.
would say that the hardest thing I've learned through love is to allow yourself to fall in love. How does the saying go? The greatest act of falling in love is allowing a person to hurt you the greatest.
Oh.
And what I learned about love is the biggest part about falling in love with somebody and trusting somebody is that you have to be okay to give them the keys to the vault and understand that this person you've chosen to care for and to give yourself to, and that they can destroy you because of it.
Yeah.
And the greatest act of falling in love is to give that level of trust. And so I learned that you can't go into a new relationship until you're ready to trust somebody again and give them the keys to your heart.
Yeah.
Because that's really that's what ruins a lot of people. They're going into a new relationships to try and fix the trauma, but they can't commit fully to a relationship because they still haven't gotten over the hurt. So there's still a big hard vault around their heart.
Yeah.
And the hardest lesson that I learned is you have to break that off, and you have to do your work and fix your heart so that
Yeah.
it's okay to get hurt again.
Yeah.
And it's okay, and you'll be fine because of family, because of friends, because of your support structures.
Yeah.
But learning to unlock that vault again after you've been hurt is hard.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why there's the saying. The saying is the greatest price that you pay for loving someone so much is potentially never loving anyone the same again. And I think that is true, but it's also realizing that that's the case and working hard to restore that love that you had before, or that purity that you had before. So that's what I would say is the hardest lesson to learn, because that's not just a battle with people and choosing the right person, but also a battle with yourself, because if you know that if you stick your hand in a hole, you're going to get bit, or there's a potential you get bit, well, you're not going to want to stick your hand in the hole, but knowing that you have to do it because the outcome is important. Learning to do that again. That's what I would say.
I think that is part of it. I think another tough lesson in that for me is being vulnerable. Like, I am one to be vulnerable with my feelings at times, and sometimes I think I might say something that when I say it, that person I'm talking to can take it and just run with it. Like, use it against you. And I feel like it's a lesson to learn, because not everybody's perception, as we've talked about many times before in the past and through our podcast, or perception or idea of certain words or feelings are not the same. Everybody's different. So for me, being vulnerable as a person, it is who I am, and I bring that to the table. But I do value that, and I would not take that away from myself as who I am as a person, right? Because I even say, when I say certain things, I know that I'm making myself vulnerable. I tell that person, I know that I'm being vulnerable towards you. Well, and then they'll explain, well, how? So I'll be like, well, you know how I feel about you. So you can either fucking ride it and be like, yeah, you know what? Haha, now I know I got this bitch, like, or this woman, like, wrapped around my finger because I know she loves me, or she cares about me, or she'll do all these things. But that's just me. And I don't think, for me, I wouldn't change that as a person. For myself, maybe I would pull back on some of the things that I do or some of the things that I say. But being vulnerable, it's important in a relationship, especially when you're in love with somebody. Vulnerability is part of being in a relationship, right? Like, everyone has vulnerable moments. That goes for you and your partner. Maybe at the same time, at different times, doesn't matter. But it's part of building, right? And it's part of, like,
together.
Growing together, understanding your vulnerabilities, understanding, okay, so we've been through this similar situation. How did we get through it? How do we overcome it? You know what I mean? And I think it shows a lot of character about who I am as a person, and I don't think that I would ever change that about myself. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, you take it or you don't. If you don't, well, then that's okay.
And that's a maturity that you learn through love. Through
and
loving and losing and loving again. You have to. You're like, I'm gonna be unapologetically myself and who I am. Even if I and know that I can deal with the assholes who are gonna take advantage of that. And
but again, like I said, right? Like, that's part of being vulnerable. That's part of the pros and cons of being vulnerable in a relationship. Is, yes, people are gonna take advantage of that, and maybe that past relationship, that person did take advantage of that, of who I was.
So now you're that much more cautious about it.
And yes, I am cautious, but I'm not gonna not ever show that side. Do you know what I mean? I'll still have that side of me, because that's who I am as a person. But it's not something that I would probably pull out of my hat right away, type of thing. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, that was one whirlwind of a ride, and I'm not gonna do that again. So
it's amazing how loving, losing, having a moment of love with somebody, like, there's a certain element of love that comes with a one night stand or with a fling and a situation, like all those things. It's amazing how all of that builds you into a certain person, that when you find this new love, this right love, that where you really click, it's amazing how every single moment, every single trauma that you had in your life around love and loving someone, it all builds into allowing you to be the perfect person for that person and having love find you just at the right moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
That's definitely a good thing, for
it's
sure.
amazing. So,
It is.
so all you guys get out there and don't look for love, let love find you, but also work on yourself.
Yes.
And just understand if you're going through a breakup right now, that's okay.
Yeah.
That there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
And you just got to go through the darkness. And emotions are funny because the reason we have emotions is you have to feel emotions until they aren't a thing anymore.
That's right.
You have to feel scared until you find the courage to be brave. And
Correct.
you have to be worried about something until you find out that, oh, maybe I shouldn't be worried about that because everything will work out.
Yep.
So go through the emotions, allow it to feel. Don't do drugs. Don't
drink yourself under the
No,
table.
exactly. It's like don't turn off your emotions. Allow yourself to feel them.
Yes.
Because the more acquainted you are with your emotions, the better you can be at realizing where you're in environments you have to change.
100%.
So that's the insight. That's the wisdom.
Yes.
Go out, love people, be loved, and enjoy the love for the moment. And we'll be back next time where we'll talk about something else involving love.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll talk about sex next time. Who knows? Okay. All right.
Until next time.
See you guys. Talk soon.
Bye.